Why is it that when relationship tensions rise, our first instinct is to hit that block button? Think about it. You meet someone amazing, there's chemistry, connection, and for a while everything feels right. But then something shifts, an argument happens, feelings get hurt, and suddenly you're hovering over that block button on social media, ready to cut the digital cord completely. Have you ever stopped to consider what happens in the moments after you block her? That, in your attempt to protect yourself or make a statement, you might actually be sabotaging any chance of rebuilding what was once there. Let's talk about what's really happening beneath the surface. When emotions run high, blocking someone feels like taking back control. It's human nature. We want to protect ourselves from pain. But this instinct, this digital wall you're building, creates a barrier between you and her that's much harder to tear down than it was to build. You were taught that self-respect means not tolerating disrespect, that protecting your peace sometimes means cutting people off. And that's not entirely wrong. But there's a crucial difference between setting healthy boundaries and impulsively severing connections that might still have potential. The truth is, the moment you block her, you eliminate any possibility of natural reconciliation. The digital silence that follows doesn't just stop the hurt, it stops everything. It's not that blocking her isn't sometimes warranted, it's that too often we use it as an emotional reaction rather than a carefully considered decision. Think about the relationships you've valued most in your life. Didn't they go through phases of conflict and resolution, moments of distance followed by deeper understanding? When you immediately jump to blocking, you're skipping the essential parts of relationship growth. The uncomfortable conversations, the vulnerable admissions, the mutual understanding that can emerge from conflict. That space for communication, that difficult but necessary channel, creates room for growth, for understanding to build, for her to actually miss your presence in her digital life. But right now, you're not giving her that space. You're shutting down all avenues of communication, eliminating every chance encounter on social media, removing the possibility of her seeing your life continue. And in doing so, you're taking away her opportunity to reconsider, to miss you, to take steps toward reconnecting. It's time to shift this approach, to stop blocking her and start inviting the possibility of reconciliation, even if it begins with the simplest digital interactions. Here's what's happening psychologically when you block someone. You're operating from a place of fear and protection. Your actions say, I need to completely remove you to feel safe. And that finality is significant. It changes the narrative from, we're having problems, to, we're done, even if that wasn't your true intention. Remember the early days of your connection, how seeing her name appear in your notifications brought a rush of anticipation, how your digital lives intertwined naturally, creating another dimension to your relationship. That casual, comfortable, digital presence was part of your bond. And while tensions may have changed things, completely severing that connection might be more destructive than you realize. So how do you stop this pattern of blocking and create the space for her to potentially move toward you again? How do you maintain your dignity while keeping the door slightly ajar? First, you need to reconnect with emotional self-regulation. When was the last time you felt triggered and didn't immediately react? When did you last sit with difficult emotions? The jealousy of seeing her post, the hurt of being ignored, the confusion of mixed signals, without reaching for that block button like a digital panic button. That emotional stability, that ability to witness your reactions without being controlled by them, is powerful. It shows her that you're mature enough to handle complexity, that you're not operating from pure emotion. It creates respect, the kind that naturally draws her attention back to you. Next, you need to recalibrate your social media presence. This doesn't mean posting thirst traps or creating an illusion of an amazing life. It means being intentional about how you show up online, focusing on authenticity rather than reaction or performance. Stop posting cryptic status updates that are really aimed at her. Stop obsessively checking if she's viewed your stories. Stop crafting your online presence around what you think will get her attention or make her jealous. Instead, use social media as a genuine extension of your actual life. Share the things that truly matter to you. Engage with content that actually interests you, and maintain connections that are valuable regardless of your relationship status. This creates a natural, attractive online presence that isn't desperately seeking her notice, but is worth her attention nonetheless. This approach creates a digital environment where reconnection becomes possible. It gives her the psychological space to observe you from a distance, to see how you're evolving, to potentially miss your presence in her active digital life. But there's something even deeper at play in the digital blocking dynamic, something you need to understand about human psychology and attraction. People are naturally drawn to what they perceive they might lose. When you remain present, Not pushing, not chasing, but simply existing in the same digital spaces, you create a subtle reminder of your existence. Your name occasionally appears in mutual friends' comments. Your profile passes through her feed. These small moments of visibility keep you within her realm of consciousness without the pressure of direct communication. When you block her, you eliminate these natural touchpoints completely. You disappear not just from her direct communication, but from her digital peripheral vision as well. And in today's world, that's like disappearing from a significant portion of her consciousness. She doesn't get the chance to see you evolving, to notice the positive changes in your life, to witness your continued existence in a world that includes mutual connections. The digital wall you've built doesn't just protect you, it prevents her from seeing anything that might reignite interest or connection. So what's the solution? First, unless there's been serious harm or abuse that necessitates blocking for your well-being, consider the less severe option of muting. This allows you to control what you see without completely severing the connection. You protect your emotional space without slamming the door shut. Second, give yourself a cooling-off period before making permanent digital decisions. When emotions are high, commit to waiting 24 hours before blocking. Often, the intense need to cut that connection subsides as your emotional state stabilizes. Third, remember that your online presence is telling a story. Is it telling the story of someone stuck in bitterness, someone desperately seeking attention, or someone genuinely moving forward with an open heart? Because that narrative is visible and it matters. If you've already blocked her, consider whether a cautious unblocking might be appropriate, not to restart immediate communication, but to simply remove the absolute barrier. This isn't about giving her access to you again, it's about not making a permanent statement that might not reflect your actual feelings or hopes. The strength it takes to remain present without pushing is far greater than the momentary relief of hitting block. It shows emotional resilience, maturity, and confidence in your own worth. Remember that true attraction isn't built on games or manipulation. It's built on genuine growth and connection. When she sees you continuing to evolve, engaging meaningfully with life, maintaining your dignity without bitterness, that's when curiosity begins to rebuild. That's when she might find herself pausing a little longer on your posts, wondering how you're really doing, considering whether there might still be something worth exploring between you. You can't control her response, but you can create conditions where reconnection becomes possible rather than impossible, where your digital presence invites curiosity rather than confirmed separation. Stop blocking her as an emotional reaction. Start showing up as your authentic self. Give the connection space to breathe, to evolve, to potentially find its way back to something meaningful. Because the most attractive thing isn't disappearing or putting on a show, it's being secure enough in yourself to remain present, with boundaries but without walls, giving both of you the space to remember what drew you together in the first place. This isn't about manipulation, it's about maturity. It's about understanding that in our digital age, how we manage our online connections is as significant as how we manage our in-person ones. Give her the chance to chase you again by simply being someone worth coming back to, online and off.